weird because obviously I'm doing live streams all the time, but we've got a decent enough crowd down here tonight, so probably maybe 100 people here, and every week there just seems to be more people coming down, and we've had, you know, it seems like the more we do this, the more challenging it gets and the more people are basically attacking us. So just let me know if anyone's jumped on here, let me know you can see this and what's going on. The amount of police we've got down here as well is absolutely ridiculous. We've got literally probably 20, maybe it's 20 officers all told. There's about 4 cars, and there seems to be a lot of interest in what we're doing from the police at the minute. We're not really worried about. Just want to get this sign here. Hi Sheila, hi Damien. Again, guys, I hate to do this. I know it's not very professional. Just let me know that you can hear me, and you can see what's going on. We've been doing this this demonstration. We've been doing this for what, the last, I suppose, two and a half years now, and there's never been so much interest in this. Just gonna grab some. See if I can shot. So I'm just going to go in front of the camera and just do a bit. Just let me know, okay? So just give me a thumbs up. Is that good enough? So yeah, so here we are in Bangor, and again 2.5 years of doing this, and I think what's happened today with the appalling legal decision, you know, think about this, right? Think about this. The Home Secretary, who her job, Yvette Cooper's job, is to protect the British people. That's what Yvette Cooper's job is. And Yvette Cooper has basically taken legal action to make sure that the British people are protected. And those judges signed off on Yvette Cooper ensuring that the British people aren't protected. Now, if that doesn't tell you what's happening in this country and the way we're being treated, then absolutely nothing. And the amazing thing is, we've got people in this town that quite happily protest against us. They're not going to protest against people coming into the country. And I was looking at some of the cases that have happened with migrants, and I was looking at the case of the Muslim Moroccan asylum seeker who carried out the terrorist attack in Hartlepool. He tried to murder his flatmate, went out on the street and murdered a completely innocent 74-year-old man called Terence Carney. And people are forgetting about all these things. In, I think, 2020, during COVID, during lockdown, there was a wee girl, an 8-year-old girl, out shopping with a mum, and an asylum seeker walked up to her and stabbed her. That was a woman, a female asylum seeker. So all these people are saying, oh, well, you know, we've got to think about the women and the children. Well, this was a woman that went in and murdered this little innocent child. If those people hadn't come into the country, those 2 people would still be alive. So Terence Carney, and I think the girl was called Emily Rose, little Emily, Terence Carney and Emily would have been alive now if these people hadn't been brought into this country. And people say, well, it's just the odd one. Well, the odd one's not enough. You know, there's a lot of people that would oppose us, would be very much into gay rights and into you know, all the sort of DEI stuff, right? And at the end of the day, we're not going to get into that debate. That's not what I'm talking about. But I wonder what they think about the 3 gay men that were murdered in a park in Reading by an asylum seeker. I wonder what they think about Salman Abayadi, who was rescued by MI5, the SAS and the Royal Navy, and brought back to the United Kingdom. He's a terrorist. He was fighting in Libya against Gaddafi. He was rescued, brought back to the United Kingdom, and we all know what he did. He blew himself up at the Ariana Grande concert and killed scores of women and children. So all these, so Jabba the Hutt up there in Broadcasting House in the BBC, you know who I'm talking about, Jabba the Hutt, the big fat slabber that likes to call us racist, likes to demonise us, big fatty Stephen. Well, I wonder what he would think about those 3 gay men that were murdered in that park in Reading by an asylum seeker. That wasn't a far-right extremist. That wasn't someone who supported what we do. Wasn't even a far-left extremist. No, it was an Islamist that went in that park, stabbed those men for no other reason than they were homosexual. And we could repeat this again and again. A man in Belfast last year, or the year before, arrested by the PSNI, He'd been down in Limerick. He murdered a Romanian woman down in Limerick, fled to Northern Ireland and was arrested, and now our tax money is paying to keep him in prison for life. Well, that says two things. First of all, it says you should bring back the death penalty for people that rape and murder people, but also it says that they shouldn't be here in the first place. And that's what we're facing. That's what we're facing in this country. So when you see hundreds of people out here on a Friday night, the people that are standing here, they're not racist, they're not bigots, they're just people that love their kids, love their wives, love their families, love their faith, love their country, and don't want the country being taken over and swamped by people that care nothing for our culture, nothing for our identity, and nothing for what we believe in. And that's what's happening. And I was looking at the stats today. 80% of the migrants coming into this country come from Muslim countries. I want you to think about that. Now, whatever you think about Islam, everybody knows my position on Islam. I think it's an antichrist, satanic death cult. There you go, I've said it. That's me probably losing the YouTube channel. But that's what I think about Islam. It's a satanic, antichrist death cult. But putting all that aside, what it is a completely different culture. Whether you agree with me on the theology of it, it is a completely different culture to what we have in this country. It is a culture that allows for child marriage. It is a culture that allows for cousin marriage. It's a culture that allows for polygamy. It's a culture that if you're a Muslim, and I've got many ex-Muslim friends, I've actually got a lot of Muslim friends as well, but many of my ex-Muslim friends are in hiding. And they can't talk about the fact that they've left Islam, because if they talked about it openly, well, we all know what would happen. In every single school of Islamic jurisprudence, there is only one sentence for apostasy, and that's death. And another fun fact about Islam, 42% of the mosques in the United Kingdom are Deobandi. Deobandi is an extreme fundamentalist sect of Islam. The Deobandi madrasas in Pakistan were the ones that sent the young cannon fodder across the border to fight for the Taliban, to join Al-Qaeda, etc., etc. 42% of British mosques are Deobandi. 8% are Salafi. 2 to 3% are Maududi. That means over 52% of mosques in the UK are extremists. They're the facts. And I think if people are brutally honest, and this is where there's someone driving past calling us losers. I wonder would she say that if her daughter was dragged off by one of these people. I wonder if she'd say that if her kid was in a school where there was some sort of horrendous attack. You know, in this town in Bangor, I think we came very, very close within the last fortnight. And I'm not going to go into the details because it's a live case, but I think we could have been sitting looking at a Southport situation. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But when you look at what potentially could have happened in this town 2 or 3 weeks ago, this could have been a town in mourning now. Thankfully it's not. And you've got to pay credit to the PSNI. The PSNI actually got involved and they arrested the man. And again, I'm not going to say any more about it, but there was an arrest made. It took a SWAT team to arrest the guy. So what does that say about the sort of person it was? So we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this until we win. And I'm more hopeful now than I've ever been. You look at what's happening in England, because the reality is, us doing it in Northern Ireland is going to have some effect. If the whole of England's with us, and believe you me, the likes of Tommy and myself and many others have fought this in England for years. We were demonised, we were ostracised, we had our businesses ruined, we had our reputations ruined for standing for truth. But now the whole of the country, I believe, is starting to come with us. The whole of the country is standing up. You look at that flag protest in England, and I was laughing last week. You know, we've been putting up flags here for 40 years. So, you know, they're a bit late in catching on in England. But one of my best mates across in England, he's behind the flag. He was one of the founder members of the flag protest. They reckon they put 1 million flags up in a week. Just think about that. 1 million England flags in 1 week. And England was waking up. And what I want to say this, because I'm going to cut this off in a minute. But I want to say this, I'm not going to cut it off just as filming. But the 13th of September is a seminal moment in British history. And if you can get to London on the 13th of September, get there. It is going to be the biggest patriotic demonstration that England has probably seen since the end of the Second World War. And I'm not kidding when I say that. Nobody's ever put anything on like this. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. The lads were putting the final touches to the walk round today with the police. Tommy was down there. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic event. So if you can get there on the 13th, get there. If you can't get there, then what I'd suggest is just make sure you watch it on the internet. Make sure you support it. And in fact, if you can't afford to go there, or if you can't get there, just support it. Just support the event, because the event needs support. It needs your support. So the 13th is a massive event. Jordan Peterson's going to be speaking. Ant Middleton's going to be speaking. There's some fantastic music going to be played. It's going to be an event of a lifetime, literally. So get there. But as well as that, it's about freedom. It's not just about getting together to celebrate patriotism. It's about freedom. Because when you look at the reaction last year, to that terrorist attack, now remember, we were told last year that it was a Welsh choir boy that went and stabbed all those girls in that dance school. We were completely gaslit and lied to by the government, and our government has not been called to account over that. I want you to think about this. Those three little angels that were murdered by that monster, if his parents had not come to our country, those three little girls would be alive. It's as simple as that. And all this nonsense that they put out at the time that it wasn't a terrorist attack. Think about the evidence. He had an Al-Qaeda manual in his bedroom. Do you have an Al-Qaeda manual in your bedroom? I don't. Al-Qaeda manual in his bedroom. He made ricin. Do you have ricin sitting under your bed? I don't. He'd been watching ISIS beheading videos like it was going out of fashion. And apparently, and this is what Tommy told me, he was told when he was in Belmarsh prison, Tommy told me that Axel Rudabakana was a Muslim convert. He was going to mosque in Belmarsh. And yet they're saying, first of all, they said it wasn't a terrorist attack. And then they had the audacity to say, oh, well, it was nothing to do with Islam. I don't believe them on any count. And the interesting thing here tonight, we've got I don't know how many police cars down here, vans, they're all over the place. I thought it was in the film set for Heat 2. I thought it was a bank robbery going on when I got down here. There was that many cop cars here. But no, they're here because there's peaceful protesters here. Now, it's going to cost the police. We're going to keep doing this, and the numbers are going to continue to grow, because what the government has done today, there couldn't have been a worse decision. When Yvette Cooper took that case against the people against Epping Council, who got the hotel closed. The hotel was going to close. And what Yvette Cooper has done, she has literally taken a gallon drum of petrol and poured it right on the bonfire that's England. So I expect the protest this weekend to be 10 times the size. I expect people to be out in the streets all over the country. And this is growing. It's growing in Northern Ireland. It's growing in the Republic vans. And you know the other thing about this? The sense of unity. Not all the people down here. There's people from Republican areas. There's people from Loyalist areas. There's people from mixed areas. There's people from everywhere coming to these protests now. And when we first started doing this, we were looked at like oddballs and weirdos. Well, now we're the normal people, and the people that aren't coming to the protests are the oddballs and weirdos, as we found out on Sunday. So if you're not involved in this movement, get involved. If you care about your kids, get involved. If you don't care about your kids, or you ain't got any kids, well, you won't get involved because you won't care. But this is the fight of our age, and I believe we're going to win it. I believe we're going to win it peacefully, and I believe we're going to win it politically. There's a new political party in the blocks called Advance UK, and if you haven't looked at Advance UK's website, if you're watching my channel, you know about Advance UK. Go onto the Advance UK website, just type in Advance UK on Google and you find it, and join Advance UK. It's a brand new party. Ben Habib's running it. He's an absolutely superb guy. It's going to do everything that Reform was meant to do but didn't do. And there's an amazing team behind it. Tommy Robinson supported it. I'm supporting it. And it's the last chance we've got to do this politically. If we don't do this politically at the next general election, I can guarantee you that in the next few years we'll be in big trouble. Anyway, I'm going to do some more filming, and we'll keep this going for a wee while and see if we get talking to some people. That's not bad. 279 people watching.
About the situation. I think that's the hurdle.
And that's the hotel there. So, I mean, here's the thing about that hotel. I mean, obviously the police there. There's more over there. I seem to have got a bit more low profile now since we started filming. But there we go. So here we have it, right? So they're evidence gatherers, right? So these cops over here, if you just see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So these guys here, Their job is to film peaceful protests. Can you imagine if that was your job? To actually film peaceful protests, people who are doing something totally illegal, and your job is to come down and film them. I'd be ashamed. I'd be absolutely ashamed if that was my job. If my job was to go and film peaceful protesters. It's an absolute embarrassment. But and again, I'm not normally critical of the police. I think the police have an important job to do. But I tell you what, we are living in a two-tier political system here. And sorry about the dodgy filming here, guys. It is just I'm walking around with a tripod, look like an absolute nutcase. But so anyway, I was saying that's the hotel there. So that hotel has had migrants in it since I think 2022. That was when they first came in there. There was stuff started happening. We started hearing rumours about attacks and different things going on. So we started doing a protest in 2023. I think it was halfway through 2023. 2.5 years. So it's been March 2023, and we've been here ever since, every Friday. And what they did was they were very clever. So they moved the migrant men out. There was a lot of Somali men, a lot of Afghan men in there. They moved those men out of there, and they put women in there, thinking that we'd stop protesting because it was women in there. Now, we have nothing against the people that are in that hotel. I've always said that. We've never harassed them. We've never given them any aggravation. In many ways, especially women and children, they are certainly victims of the people smugglers, and they're certainly people who, have probably been through horrendous things, and we're not going to deny that. But here's the thing: they shouldn't be here. So it's not picking on the people as individuals. It's not attacking them as human beings. But they shouldn't be here, and they need to go home, and they need to be deported. Because if you come to this country illegally, you've come through at least 3 safe countries to come to this country. And to me, that's just totally unacceptable. Let's see if we get someone to talk to us. Freedom, Dad. Do you know what it is? Whenever you do this, I don't like pointing cameras under people's noses, because the reality is a lot of people, they've got jobs. They don't want to put themselves at risk. I mean, we're like, all the stuff that we do. We insist on nobody. Actually covering their faces and masking themselves up. So I'm gonna go around here, see if I can get someone to have a chat with us. See what we can do. Make sure I don't walk on the road and get myself run over. Right, guys, we're live on YouTube. Who's talking?
You're on my pocket.
Go on then. What are you doing here?
I'm down here all the time because I have had enough.
Sorry, let me get that back. Let me get this sorted out. Kelly, because this is not good. You just hold the mic.
Yeah, I've had enough of illegal immigrants coming into the country and just taking it. And I've had enough of Labour giving them everything. Conservatives started it. They're giving them too much. They need to stop giving them, and they'll stop coming. It's just enough already. We've all had enough. We're just having the piss taken clean out of us. And then this judgment today at Epping, that's another piss take. All Labour judges, all just pandering. The Home Office, all the illegal immigrants. They are illegal immigrants, and this is another thing. They're saying, they're not illegal. They are illegal. They're not applying for asylum before they come into the country. They're coming into the country illegally, so they're criminals. They should just be put into a detention centre. If they need to claim asylum, most of them's coming from countries that are not war-torn countries. So there's no reason to be here. They're economic migrants is what they are. Illegal migrants. They're unvetted and they're dangerous. And we've just had enough.
Well, I mean, what do we? I mean, what do we do? How do you think we can? How do you think we can actually get rid of them? I mean, what's the best solution? Where's to give that back to you?
They just need to be held in detention and then deported straight away. There are deportation systems set up with most of the countries. The government's just not doing it. They're choosing not to do it. So that's a government problem. They need to start saying, right, okay, they need to listen to the country. They are here to work for us, not for any other country, not for the EU, not for anyone else. They're here to work for us, and they're not doing it. So it's either a case of work for us or leave.
And what would you say to Yvette Cooper? What would you say if you could speak to Yvette Cooper right now?
Have a good work with yourself. Have a real good work with yourself. Look at the state the country is in. Look at what the country wants, and look at what you are doing to the country. Nobody was asked, would we accept this? We voted for Brexit for a reason. then we've had this thrown upon us with no permission given. Nothing asked, just shoved on us. Because Keir Starmer basically wants to be up the arsehole of the EU, all Labour do. And it's just take it. The country is going to get to a breaking point, and they personally, I think that's what they want. They want trouble, they want the riots, they want stuff like that, and they will send instigators in everywhere they can to cause them, so that they can blame us being far right, racist, blah blah. I grew up in Spider.
And what do you think about Ben Habib and Advance UK?
Oh yeah, they have to get going. Everybody has to join. I've been promoting as much as I can. Repost. Everybody has to get behind Ben Habib. Ben Habib is the only one that actually seems to have a plan for the country, that's working, that wants to work for the country. And they will actually deal with Northern Ireland as well, because everybody else just seems to be willing to just take a giant shit on Northern Ireland, to be really honest with you. Ben and his party is going to be the only way to go to sort this country out.
And I mean, Ben's not yet. I mean, obviously, because the party's very much in its infancy. Yeah. Ben isn't actually organising Northern Ireland yet. He's encouraging people to join Advance from Northern Ireland. Yeah. Would you like to see him actually start a party in Northern Ireland?
Absolutely, definitely, 100%. Anybody in any position now to join the party, to get a party going over here, needs to get their finger out and get on it. They need to get involved, because what we have over here is just as shameful as what England has. The Northern Ireland Assembly is an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. There is not one MLA sitting up in Stormont that is actually genuinely really doing anything for us. They're starting to jump on a bandwagon because they've realised, there could be a wee bit of unrest here. People aren't happy. But they're not genuinely doing anything about it. There's never one of them down here. There's, somebody needs to get organised and get into Advance and start a party over here and get moving, because we are not going to be... What's going to happen is they're all going to come up from down south. They're going to come over from England, Scotland, Wales, everywhere, and we're going to be lumber buffalo. And they've picked the wrong country to try and do that too, to be fair.
No, I totally agree. And what about the fact that this is like a cross-community thing? Because a lot of people from Roman Catholic backgrounds come in here. And what do you think about that?
Absolutely love it. Need to get more Protestants and Catholics together. That has been a brilliant symbol that went all around the world. People being seen together, flying the two flags together, bring that on as much as possible, because all the governments need to see that Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland are going to be united in this whole thing. We have all had enough on this tiny wee island. We've all had enough. That's it. And so definitely, we need to get together.
Brilliant, thanks very much. I'll go and see if I can grab someone else here. So take it easy. Pete, do you want to do it? No. See, everyone gets very bashful when you're walking around with a camera, but who don't we get here to talk to us? Where's Lorna gone? Right, do a bit of the camera. Who don't we get? Oh, sorry.
All right.
Lorna, do you want to do a wee? Yeah, let's.
What time's that thing that started?
Oh, let's get over here. Sorry about them being rude. Just do it. All right, Glenn, do you want to do a bit? No. Come on, Lorna.
If I'm seen on there, I'm fucking
we'll just edit out when we do it later. That was live. Right, Lorna, go on, blast away. Just tell us why you're here. Yeah, okay, I'll ask you a few questions. So, what do you think about if you move into the camera? Because this is going out live, by the way, so this is the first live. I know. No, don't worry about it. So, Lorna, what do you think about the judgment that's just happened in England, and how do you think it might affect things with other people taking cases? Yeah, just what do you think about that?
Okay, so say the judgment over in England, I think, is absolutely diabolical. The judges that were in place were not in any knowledge of planning processes or anything else, apparently not just the party. The sheer fact of the affiliations of these judges with the Labour government itself and the Labour Party, that shouldn't be overlooked. But basically this is the government turning in against the British citizens of the United Kingdom, and that is just, where do you do that? Where does it stay? It shouldn't be happening, so it shouldn't be this way. And as for cases going forward, I think every single case needs to continue on. I don't think we can stop this. I think the government has to learn that people are fed up, people are going to speak, whether they like it or not, and be brave. Chin up, community communities, community cohesion, everything else that goes along with that, and especially our kids.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've been down here. You've been coming down here for, I suppose, about a year, probably altogether. And when you were first down, there was maybe 20 people there. And I mean, I'll pan the camera around in a minute. But I mean, what do you think about the way this is going, and why do you think that's happening?
I think because people are realising that the government does not stand for them, and the only people that can stand up for themselves is the people themselves. People are fed up, people are angry. The government's using our taxes not only to pay for migrants, but then pay straight British citizens. It just, where's the end of it? It has to end, and the only way it's going to end is by people standing up and speaking out, speaking loud, being proud of what they're doing.
And obviously the mainstream media, particularly that, I call him Jabba the Hutt, that big fella up in Broadcasting House in Belfast. They've been really pushing this. They've been really saying that the people doing these protests are racist and xenophobic, and saying that people organising them have got an agenda and all that sort of thing. What do you think about that, and how do we deal with that?
Okay, so I'm a veteran. So I am, and I have worked with all colours, all creeds, all religions across the world throughout my career. I'm not racist, but I will stand up for my community, and I will certainly stand up for my daughter and other people's children. For people to come out and use that, it's lazy, it's dismissive, and shaming them for using those tropes and slurs against their own people. It's absolutely shameful. People are speaking out, people have concerns, they're rightful concerns, and those need to be addressed. You can't just push that under the carpet anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think these, especially the people in the media that have got a responsibility, I mean, the way they're demonising people, it's dangerous. I mean, we look at what happened with Tommy a few weeks ago in St Pancras Station. That guy got knocked out because he bit off more than he could chew, you know what I mean? But the reality is that could have ended very, very differently. It could have ended a long prison sentence for either one of the men, could have ended up with somebody dead, and the reality is people talk about people inciting things, and I think the worst people for inciting violence are probably the left, and the people that are saying that we're the ones that are that are rabble rousing and all the rest of it. Tell me this. Obviously, you're involved in the political party. Do you want to talk about that a bit, or what you? Yeah, and also I want to touch a bit on Advance UK as well. As you know, I'm heavily involved in Advance UK, and I know Jim and Ben are good friends. And I was speaking to Ben the other day. I'm not going to say too much, but I think Ben wants to obviously have a chat with Jim. As a grassroots TUV member, how could you see, without compromising yourself, the two different things working together in some sort of way?
I think the great thing about Advance UK is Ben has already, for the past 4 or 5 years, been a great supporter of Northern Ireland, and that's what Northern Ireland needs. We are part of the United Kingdom, and we shouldn't be shown to decide because it suits the EU. They shouldn't be allowed to do a land grab, and Tories before and Labour have done that. We have Nigel Farage sitting in the corner saying one thing 1 minute and another the next. As much as I wanted Reform to be the party for everybody, it's just turned out on their Democrats, and especially for people in Northern Ireland, people like me who want Northern Ireland to survive and exist. It's not like it's the I truly believe Ben Habib and UK are going to be the party to do that. And I think it would be a positive step if we managed to keep them over to Northern Ireland and join forces with the TUV in that respect. And hopefully if that does happen, it's going to happen. And if it does, I'd like to think that the people of Northern Ireland have had enough tribal politics over here realise they want to be in the United Kingdom, they want Northern Ireland to survive, and they'll get behind Ben and Jim in making that happen.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. That's fantastic. So we'll keep going, Lorna. And again, I just want to encourage you in your political career as well. I think it's fantastic. And obviously I've, met you a few times, and I know the passion that you've got. And with you, it's all about the people. It's all about your community and the people that you know and you love, and you want to support them. So again, if there's any council elections and Lorna's standing and you come across this video, you know where to put the X in the box. I'm totally partisan. I support Lorna, what she's doing, and hopefully the TUV in advance will find some way of working together. I'm sure they will, because Jim Allister's a good man. I've met Jim Allister. I know Ben Habib fairly well. They're good people, and I think it would be great to see some sort of cooperation, which I think would be very, very, very positive, and that's really what we're looking for. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Thank you. Right. Where's my next victim? Do you want to? No. You see, this is where everybody gets. Here's a man that should talk to us. You know what? Well, we don't split run over the mic then. That's all. Yeah, we'll do it again. Yeah, we'll do it again. You do it next time. Yeah, sure. No problem.
You got a good one with Lorna?
Lorna's great. I mean, Lorna. Oh, sorry, mate. Lorna's. This is not the professional way to do it. You're not meant to walk around like I'm doing, just beating people with the stand. You know what I mean? But
we can put that on.
You will do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at the bruise you give me.
Exactly. Be suing me. But I mean, I think the turnout here is getting bigger all the time. Every week, and it's a good atmosphere. There's no aggro. There's no one messing about. It's all a really, really good sort of vibe, and that's what we want, isn't it? We want people coming down here and being peaceful. And there's a lot more police down here as well at the minute.
I noticed that from the time. Now, I haven't been here as often as yourself.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see the support grow.
Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely getting bigger. But we'll see who else is willing to have a chat with us. Oh, here's Ken. Actually, I need to speak to Kenny, because Kenny's. Kenny, how are you, mate? Do you want to do a piece?
I know.
Let's get you on camera. And I haven't done that thing yet. Bear with me. It's been one of those weeks. We had a bit of an incident on Sunday. Let me I'll bring that down a wee bit. Right, Ken. So, if you just want to tell us why you're here and what you think about what happened today in the courts in England, with Yvette Cooper basically taking a case, really, what I call it is a case against the British people. Just let us know what you think about that, Kenny.
I think Yvette Cooper's basically against the people. The people of that community got a decision from a more local court, and it seems to be the further you go up the judicial path, you end up with more judges that are linked to the establishment and don't give out straight results. The Epping is a setback, yes, but it's a setback in England. Our rules and regulations for hotels here aren't the same. They're slightly different. But the country's going upside down. The government doesn't realise it soon. It's going to explode. I think it's only going to take a small flame, or a small spark, to ignite a flame, and it's just going to go bad. What I'm really perplexed about is our own politicians, from local politicians to MLAs. Why are we not hearing any of them? Why are we not seeing any of them stand alongside us? Are they all happy with it? Have our politicians and MLAs been looking into the operation of these hotels and the legality of it? It's very few on the ground. I think there's one TUV lady in the walls pretty active on social media there. She seems to be...
She's here tonight, actually. That's Lorna. She's somewhere. Yeah.
I've been conversing with Lorna a bit there, but it's good to see. But really, we need visual presence standing with us to give us a wee bit of confidence, because at the end of the day, it's not about racism, it's about culture, and the culture being eroded, and important culture, which it isn't conclusive with their own. It goes rails against it in every term, no matter what you try and read through their text of their Islamic faith. It's not conducive with our Christian country. They're bringing these people in. It's the single men, primarily. And the main annoyance too, Richard, does anybody, I mean, entering the country illegally, is that not a crime? We'll try and look up the statistics for how many people have been charged with entering the country illegally.
Zero.
Slim on the ground.
Yep.
What I did find out was there's 6,410 people have been arrested for illegal working. And that's over just under 10 months. That's happened. So if that's what they're catching, how many is there actually still operating? They're not being caught.
Yeah, totally.
I think people need to be aware the majority of that's being done in the food delivery sector. These are people who don't understand us, don't care for us one bit, don't respect women, and they even respect children even less. And they're delivering your food. I think people need to seriously think about that.
Yep.
But I would like to see more from our own politicians. They're too silent.
Tell me this, Ken. What do you think about Advance UK?
Brilliant.
Would you like to see Advance UK organising in Northern Ireland?
And my feeling is Advance UK would be a pretty good partnership with TUV. That's my own thoughts on it.
Yep.
I think that would be a good alliance, definitely. I have joined Advance UK.
Yeah, me too.
Even though I can't vote for them from
Yeah.
here, but it's lends and support. It's the ideals of Ben Abiba like.
Yep.
He's a straight person. He's always spoke up for Northern Ireland. I think his heart's pure enough for it. He's not in it for himself. He's openly said he would stop down had Robert Lowe have took him up with the offer. I would like to see Robert Lowe and a lot of those factions maybe uniting. I think the more you dilute the vote, the worse.
Yeah.
But and especially here, where we've been sectarian politics for long enough, well, I think it's proven that it doesn't matter who's First Minister. It has no bearing whatsoever. So I think the question of Northern Ireland people need to ask themselves is, who is standing up alongside you on this issue? And that's the people you vote for, no matter what party they're in, no matter what party they're from. You need to vote for keeping the country safe.
Yep. And I think as well, Ken, I think one of the things about the whole idea of the sort of sectarian headcount politics in Northern Ireland, we have a lot of Roman Catholics come down to this devil, from some hard, I mean, I'm not going to say what areas, but some nationalist areas, and they're taking a risk when they do that, because obviously we all know what Sinn Féin are and what they represent.
Rejected in their own community.
Exactly.
A lot of the ones you do see have a mask on are from nationalist communities.
Yeah.
They're afraid to be seen standing up against this because obviously the left leaning of Sinn Féin and Palestine. I don't need to go down the links with Arab countries and Sinn Féin, but I think the chickens are going to hold the roost. The people need to realise socialism is socialism, and that is communism.
Yep.
I think for long enough the parties here, the socialist party, people thought it was for the good of the population.
Yeah.
So socialism is a worldwide thing. Socialism is hell bent against capitalism. They have no interest in who's in charge. They just want power. Yeah. That's all they want.
Yeah.
But the socialism it needs to be looked at. I mean, everybody would agree that Hitler was a Nazi.
Yeah.
People would agree Hitler was a communist. People would agree Hitler oppressed people and put them out and displaced them and killed them and what have you. What did you call Hitler's party?
The National.
Just remember it was the Nazi party.
National Socialists.
National Socialist Workers' Party.
Yeah.
And what a lot of these protests that we go to and you see the left tards at them, look at their banners, try and understand what's on their banners. Their banners are all professionally made, look at the bottom of it, Socialist Workers' Party. That's no coincidence.
Yep.
You also see other banners of political parties belonging to this country at the same protests.
In fact, I think it's safe to say that the biggest genocides that took place in the 20th century were all carried out by socialists.
100%.
It was either national socialists or international socialists.
100%.
The Nazis were national socialists, the communists were international socialists. That was the only difference. The ideology is pretty much the same. I know people say, well, that's too simplistic, but it's not. It's just the truth.
It is.
Yeah.
And the Labour government's doing exactly the same thing, trying to distribute what they call as wealth and even out the system. No matter whenever you get perfect socialism, somebody always has to be in charge, somebody has to be the leader. There's always going to be that. And what you need to realise is who's going to be welcome within that socialist society.
Exactly.
Who's going to be welcome?
Yeah.
If you only agree, you're welcome, because that's how they're all run.
Yeah.
Socialist societies have been tried all over the world and failed and do fail. So I think it's a road to no crown. People need to realise who's supporting them politically.
Can I tell the people what you did with the memberships, or do you not want to do that?
No, that's not for that.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah. So listen, Kev, thanks for that. I'm gonna try and find another victim.
You're splicing that anyway, aren't you?
No, that's live.
Oh, is it?
That's live. Yeah, that's not live. Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, we'll get to talk about that. But that's the but no, I mean this. I'm going to see if we get Jim to say something. Any of you guys want to do a little? Do you want to do a little piece to camera? Just tell us why you're here. No. Yeah, just tell us why you're here.
Here, support the way that we all feel.
What about the situation today with Yvette Cooper basically taking a case against the British people? What do you think about that? And she won.
I'm worried, really worried about the outcome that there may be, because it's going to make people angry, really angry now, you know.
I think it's poured massive petrol on the fire. I mean, if people were angry before this, and then they thought they got a win, and I actually, to be honest with you, in a way, I think for us in the long term, it's actually going to be beneficial, and I'll explain why. I did a video about this the other day. I think the issue with the hotels is, if they're not in those hotels, we don't know where they are. At least when they're in the hotels, we know where they are. So kind of, even though I know that the reason Yvette Cooper took the case wasn't for that reason, she took it because she's an open borders fanatic and doesn't care about the British people. But when I look at it, I go, actually, if that hotel closed down tomorrow, we'd lose a lot of energy, and a lot of people would stop coming to the protests. So I think, in a funny sort of way, a twisted sort of way, it shows her true colours, and it makes everyone really angry. But in the long term, it might work in our benefit. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I can definitely see your point, but get them out of the hotels and send them back.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if they get them out of the hotels, what I want to see is, as soon as they're out of the hotels, they're either in prison camps, locked, and they can't go out. You know, they're basically detained as criminals because they have broken the law. They've come to the country illegally, and then they return to the country from whence they came, which is France. So they said, I'm not saying send them back to Afghanistan. They came from France. Send them back to France. You know, and
We're all suffering. I know, people think that sure has an effect in your life personally, but it is with hospital waiting lists and doctors.
It's affecting everything.
It is absolutely everything.
And I think we're in a way we're lucky because I am older, and we've basically got our houses and we've got sorted out. And we're kind of in our careers. But for young people, there's no hope. Yeah, no hope for our children. Yeah, no hope for our children. Yeah.
Are they going to be down for the rest of their lives? Our children or whatever?
Yeah.
But their security as well. Their security. I am grandchildren. I am grateful for what they have ahead of them, living with these people in our communities.
Yeah, and I mean, I was looking at some of the stats earlier, and I think it's about 80% of these men, and obviously 76% of the people that are coming in 2018, 2024 are men. So 76% of them men, and at least 80% of the countries they're coming from are Muslim countries. So I mean, it's not just a demographic change; it's a cultural change, and Islam. 52% of the British people don't believe Islam's compatible with the United Kingdom. So
not with Christian life, and that's what this is. The UK is a Christian country, and we need to keep it that way. We cannot be bending backwards and letting other people come in and dictate to us what mosques they want built and
exactly.
praying to other gods.
Exactly.
This is a Christian country.
Exactly.
If you're coming into this country, then you obey by our laws.
Yeah. But the reality is, it's almost like it's going the other way. I mean, they're trying to get this this definition of Islamophobia on the statute book, which is definitely going to affect people's freedom of speech. It's going to affect the employment law. It's going to affect all sorts of things. It'll probably end up with if you're saying something about Islam, it'll end up a hate crime. And I'm only going one place if that happens, because there's no way I'm going to stop saying what I think about Islam. But I think from the point of view of how we change it, I mean, I've joined Advance UK. I'm pushing Advance UK like mad. I'm talking to Ben, trying to see if he'll work something out with Jim Allister, because obviously a friend of Jim Allister, and Ben's a very honourable man. So he's not going to do is do something to undermine Jim Allister's position. But would you support it if Ben Habib organised Advance UK in Northern Ireland?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, for sure. Yeah, we'd be there.
Yeah.
We'd do anything to support.
And
We've
I mean,
all got to stick together.
and I've got, I just, I mean, it's not scientific, but I've asked about half a dozen people in our little group here, and everybody's saying, everyone knows who Advance are, everyone knows who Ben is, and they're saying, let's do it. Listen, thanks for taking the time to chat, and you've got 191 people watching us. So well, so do, I mean, listen.
You've got to come to all these protests.
Well, it's
all right watching, but
yes. Well, exactly. Tell them what time it is, and what happens when you get down here on a Friday. Tell them what time they need to be here for.
7 o'clock, Bangor, the key clock, just until 8 o'clock. We'll stand about, we're all friends, everybody's happy, we're chatting, there's children, no bother us at all. Please don't bother us whatsoever. And it would be amazing to see everybody coming down and helping support, and to show that we're all sticking together.
Yeah, and I mean, the support's getting bigger and bigger all the time as well, isn't it? We're getting more and more people here. Yeah.
We're making an effort to come out.
It is. It's huge.
I know it's time.
And again, it's just ordinary people. It's just I mean, exactly. And I think they're right to be worried. I mean, I was going through it earlier on. I mean, the amount of murders and sexual assaults that have taken place at the hands of migrants is absolutely unbelievable, and even the demographic change. Bournemouth, apparently 47%. The demographics have changed by 47% in Bournemouth in something like 5 years. It's something ridiculous. It's just unbelievable. Bournemouth is basically, unrecognisable. Don't go on holiday to Bournemouth. Come to Bangor. Come to Bangor in Northern Ireland. It's lovely. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. But it's a great place. It's a great place. That's why I'd never move away from Northern Ireland. But yeah, I mean, and what do you think about the likes of Stephen Nolan and these media characters? Just give us a bit of love. Give us a bit of love for Stephen Nolan.
Listen to him this week. 15 minutes was all I gave Stephen Nolan this week, and he was just horrendous. I have never heard any such rubbish from
I mean, I'm going to say something that will be controversial, but I think we're pretty sure. That Stephen Nolan doesn't have any children or grandchildren, and he's never going to have any children or grandchildren. No. and I wonder, does that inform the way he thinks?
Possibly, but still, no, he's brainwashed, and he's trying to brainwash everybody else. He just talks utter nonsense. Absolute utter nonsense.
And he doesn't seem to realise that the future's on YouTube with a little phone, and nobody in your ear telling you what to say. It's just an iPhone, or not even an iPhone, a cheap phone.
That's right.
And a microphone, and that's all you need, and you can crack on and just do whatever you need to do. But I mean, even down here, I mean, it's just such a lovely, relaxed atmosphere. There's no aggro, there's no cat demo. It's just a really nice.
Nobody wants problems.
No. There are no problems.
We're all here together for one reason.
Exactly.
That's to look after us, our community, our families, and the country.
Yeah, exactly.
And to try and keep it. We need it to go back to the way it used to be.
Exactly. And I mean, there's not too many. There's a few younger people out here, but not too many. I mean, why do you think the young people don't come out?
I try to encourage ones to come out and to come down. But, no, I don't think they're not. I don't know what they're hearing in school, or what they're being taught in school, or what, but they're.
Yes.
Just want to get things just back to normal.
Yeah.
Back to the start.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
what everybody wants. Through their own country, for
Yeah.
everybody's sakes. Come on, just get back to normal. They have the cost of living and average.
Exactly.
That's destroying.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's horrendous. It's horrendous, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I know. Been looked after. Oh.
7 or 9 million a day.
I'm going to grab this man here. This because Mark, come on ahead. Come on. Let's do an interview. You've interviewed me loads of times. Let's bring Freedom Dad in.
So
Just
what do
can you
you
let us know?
want me?
Are we? I need to find out. Let us know when we're in camera. Are we in?
Yep.
Or do we need to be a bit further back? He's in.
That's you now, that's dead on.
Is that us now? Yeah.
That's you.
Mark, how do you think this is developed? I actually think, do you know what, I actually think Mark's to blame for all this, because before he came over here, we were getting 10 people at the protest. Mark, what have you done? How can we get 100 people here now?
It's just using social media in the right way. It's doing clever. Learning from some of the mistakes and the grades and the falling out and all that. It's just using it. It's being clever for us. And I know there's problems in traffic here. Just by saying I have, we're being clever for us. We're researching, we're looking into the past, we're looking at what we're damage that's done in England and some of the that's all it is. It's using the words and staying behind the line, being legal, everything's being honest.
And I mean, the other thing is, I think we're looking at a lot of evidence. I mean, we had an incident last Sunday, which was something of nothing, but the guys with all sorts of allegations against us. I think that was really wasn't anything to do with those people. It was more to do with him. That's another story. Another story. But I mean, one of the things you said about being clever project, I think one of the things that's really impressed me about this, I'm not going to point that out, but last week we had West Belfast. And we're not talking about Shanghai. So we Roman Catholic men coming down here and standing. And we're seeing like that. And you and I know, obviously, we've both got backgrounds. We were all of us were touched by the trouble. Right? I was different people doing different things. But I think the truth of the matter is that we're seeing people that we never very suspicious of each other coming down and having exactly the same spirit. What do you think about that?
This is the time because things are changing. And I want to say, we even have a lot more conflicts with us right now. In the 80s with the connection between IRA and PLO with the training grounds and the training camps, the syntax, the refugees, the fact that it's coming to that's a big problem with that. And what I think is it's a lot of hardliners who want the Tories to continue and they know they're not going to get it from us. So this is only part of the Palestinian thing that if it wasn't for that, our demos would be full of Protestants and Catholics. I must be like you, getting messages from across the Glen, Cork Side, Falls Road, Davis Flats, Ardmore, Andersonstown, places that we would never go into. And see that as well, being at the demos and being around Catholics is strange for me as a Protestant. It's still a wee bit like it's the life that we live, and it is amazing to see, and it is something that's changing. And I think that's what the problem is. I think that worries the government because this is the first time we've
we all know who runs different groups. Right? I mean, nothing's what it seems over here. We've known that for years, and we don't shout too much about that. That's a whole different story that we're not going to go into tonight. But I think the fact that grassroots Protestant Catholics have come together, the powers that be, the people that are controlling, I think particularly Republican groups, they don't know what to do with that. What do they do with that? Because at the end of the day, it's grassroots, working class people coming together with a common cause that both see what's happening to them.
I know what they'll do.
Because the thing, well, me too.
I know
we all
they
know.
won't vote for them.
Yeah,
they won't vote for Sinn Féin. People say to me like, "Oh, why don't you know that Sinn Féin support?" We don't know how much support Sinn Féin's actually got from their past Republican areas until the voting time comes, you know what I mean?
And I think that brings me on to the last thing I'm going to say. Obviously, I don't know what you think about it. I spoke to you about it. I've been supporting Advance UK. I know Ben Habib personally. I think he's a great guy. Would you like to see Advance UK organised in Northern Ireland?
I would like to see any political party that's going to remake the criminals and the terrorists. I never watched this cop in the last 10 to 15 years. Get rid of all the criminals that have committed any criminal offences. No second chance. You get everything later on. You get the benefits, you get the hotels, you're getting everything free. You get the gym memberships free, you get all free. You should respect that. If you break the law once you're here, there should be no cases. They should be gone, and that's all I want. The problem I have, and I'll be honest, is I don't understand at a time where we're in so much danger, we shouldn't have any breakups, and everybody should be coming together, because reform are going to be in the next year. I do believe reform are being set up as the new Labour. It's been set up for a wee while now, and they're just going to take over and carry on where Labour's left off. They're saying the right things at the minute, because that's what they've done. They lie to the hospital women, they lie to the farmers, they lie to a lot of people, they lie to the old people, and this is what we're seeing. They're going to tell us lies, we're going to vote for them, and then they're going to do nothing. It's not maybe to do something worse.
I totally agree, and I mean, one of the things that really worries me about reform is the Islamisation of reform. The candidate for mayor of London is a Muslim woman, Zia Yusuf, who has been, I was going to use the word groomed, it's not the right word to use, who's been put forward, I think, eventually to be a Prime Minister, is a Muslim. Now, people might say you've been very bigoted, Richard, you've been a sectarian bigot. No, I'm not. I know quite a lot about Islam. I've studied it a lot. I don't believe it's conducive to a good civilised society. I believe there's massive problems with it. Everywhere it goes, it seems to be chaos. And I really don't want...
Look, Nigel Farage is doing exactly what Nigel Farage, you don't need to listen to Nigel Farage standing up in the sky on BBC News. People that are on the week, houses or watch these channels. All you got to do is watch Nigel Farage online when he's in podcast, when he's relaxed and he's stuff. And he's already told us that we need to take Islam with us. If we don't take Islam with us, we're in trouble. And I answered Nigel Farage, what if Islam don't want to come with us? How much trouble are we in the end? So that's all we've got to do is listen to what Nigel Farage is actually truly saying.
And the reality is that the only thing that Islam knows and understands is people standing up to it. You know, and I've always said the biggest victims of Islam are Muslim women. Muslim women are oppressed and oppressed. Don't be fooled by the nonsense of Union Jack hijabi. It's nonsense. You know, most women that wear the burqa throughout the world do not want to wear the burqa. As soon as they can get away from it, look at the women in Iran. They take the burqas off to get killed. We don't want Sharia law in the UAE. It's simple as that.
Just on that note, I was picking up on schools to start. I'm not going to say what school or anything like that. And there was a senior kids coming out, and she was actually was going towards where the cars pick up. She was putting her head's car back on. The person I was with, she doesn't know about that. You know what I mean? She's on the take that on. So,
and you know, I've got a lot of ex-Muslim friends. You know, they're feeling lives, especially women. You know, in real danger. I remember years ago when we first started doing that in 2017. I don't say what country she was a Muslim woman, started following us, she was very supportive of what we're doing, speak to us, speak to in person. After about 3 or 4 months, she contacted me on Facebook. She said, I can't contact you guys anymore. My brothers just said they're going to kill me. We never heard from her again. We never heard from her again. So, you know, so that's what we're dealing with. And I think, look, and we're not saying every Muslim's like that. That's not what we're saying. I've got show how this, you know, and I've got a lot of Muslim friends. I was brought up a Muslim, so you know, so it's not about that, but it's about the fundamentalist Islam, which is a massive proportion of the Muslims in the UK. Deobandi fundamentalist mosques or Salafi mosques, 50%, and that's a massive problem for the United Kingdom. And it's like a runaway train going off a cliff. It's almost like watching it. How can we stop this?
We need to start straight away. I only have politicians that are born and from mothers and fathers and grannies and granddaughters. No two ways about it. We cannot have dual citizenship in power, in the Home Office, in our Justice Secretary, education, our Justice and our education are the two most important positions in our country, and they should be run by British-born people with British-born grannies and granddads. Now, that's not too much to ask. It's not far right, it's not racist. If you've got dual citizenship, if you've got one eye or one part of your heart, Pakistan, Iraq, or Afghanistan, or anywhere like that, then your whole or your heart is in my country, and that's who I don't want that in my country. I don't want that kind of people looking after my child or my grandchildren in the future. I want people who are invested in my country, who are Irish, Northern Irish. We want the English to look after the English, Scottish after the Scottish, Welsh after the Welsh, Northern Irish after. It's not much to ask. It isn't much to ask.
I would slightly disagree on that. I would, because obviously Ben Habib, I'd like to see him as next Prime Minister. But I mean, with me, it's not really the race thing. It is the religion, it's the culture. Islam is without a shadow of doubt, a culture that is not friendly to Western values, and sooner or later there's going to be a clash.
Yeah, well, Ben Habib, like you say, nothing against the guy, but how do we, going forward, how do we know who's getting the power? If we've got people coming in the power that have dual citizenship in other countries, how do we know the security of our country is secure? You know, if they're in the Home Office, these are, you're probably got evidence where they're sending visas.
I think there's a massive problem in the Home Office. There's something like 900 Islamic, there's an Islamic society in the Home Office. There's about 900 people in the Islamic society. They all have to be sacked. They all have to be sacked. You know, and there has to be a complete house cleaning of all the lefties, all the communists, all the Islamists out of the Home Office. They all need to go. The same in the police, same in the military. Any institutions that are infested with communists or Islamists, the communists and the Islamists need to be sacked. It's as simple as that. That people say, well, that's not very free. It's not a question for me. It's a question of national security.
National security, 100%. You know, we have threats coming from all around the world. We don't know how many times. The government do not know how many people are in the country that have come back with visas, table work visas, education visas, also the visas, and they don't even know how many is here that haven't returned. That's frightening. You know, we are in the weakest army. You know, we are in a very vulnerable position. Our police and our government are terrified of Islam. They're running amok. They know they've got a certain amount of protection, and then they're also getting protections from the courts, the police, and the Home Office. Yeah. Something needs to change.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Thanks, Mark. Well, listen, I'm going to wrap that up there, guys. So it's the first live stream I've been on the stream in a long time. So thanks for watching, and I'll be on with Paul probably over the weekend. But keep fighting, guys. It's going to be a big weekend. See you soon. It's good to see you.
I need to say this, but your microphone wasn't working.
Oh no!
I was trying to get your attention.
No, for how long?
Since you started speaking to Mark, I tried to get your attention.
Oh man, really?
All the comments were coming on about it as well.
Oh, I wonder why that was. That's really annoying.
Because he didn't even have his mic on either.
Oh.
You can still make out part of
Yeah.
it, but you couldn't make
Oh
out
man, that's annoying.
Yeah, can I tell you something? Seeing
Why is that not working then? How do I stop that? How do I stop that? I wonder why it's gone off. See, this is the problem with this stuff.
Yeah. The only reason I knew was because I went online to watch it on YouTube.
Right.